This video is on combining like terms. When you're looking at this, it says variable terms. That's terms with a variable. So in the case of this equation that we have up here, it's an expression because there's no equal sign. The variable terms would be 7x. You would have negative 5x. Make sure the negative sign stays with it if it's subtract in front of it. You always keep the negative with it. And then 4x. Those are going to be your variable terms. Now your constant terms, these are terms without a variable. So in this case it's 3, 8, and again the negative sign stays with it, it's negative 1. If it's easier, you may just kind of make everything addition. So that's to make it addition, it becomes a negative 5x. Addition, it's a negative 1. Now, next is trying to figure out what is a coefficient. A coefficient, that's just the term for the number that is next to a variable. So in this case, 7 is a coefficient, negative 5 is a coefficient, and 4 is a coefficient. Now, you can simplify an expression by combining like terms. That means if you have an x or y or anything, you can only combine those with the same letter and the same letter to the same power. Either that or no letter. One thing I like to do sometimes is I will box or circle different things. Like right here, I will combine the ones that have the x term, the variable terms. Make sure when you box here, though, you include that sign in front. Always include the sign in front. So I'm looking right there, and I've got 7x minus 5x, which is going to be 2x, plus 4x, gives me 6x. Now, for the other terms, the constant terms, I'll just circle them. I'll use a different color too to help show. And make sure again you're circling the sign in front. So you've got 3 plus 8 minus 1, which is going to give you a positive 10. So that means it's plus 10. Let's go ahead and try a few more examples here. So just looking at number 1, we have a 3x, we have a positive 6x. Those are the only terms. We only have variable terms. So that one's pretty easy. That's just a 9x. Or you got a 9a minus a 10a, which is a negative 1a. But on number 3, you've got a 7m and a minus 5m, which is going to give you 2m. But again, we've got now a constant over here. Make sure, sorry, that didn't come out too well. Make sure you got that negative sign. I know I kind of got my square through that, but make sure that you notice that's a negative 6. But there's no other constant term, so you're just going to bring that down. So it's going to be 2m minus 6. Let's look at number 5. We've got a 7p and we've got a negative 9p. Those are the only constant terms I see. So 7p minus 9p is going to be a negative 2p. Now I've got to look at my constants. I've got a negative 1 and a positive 5. Negative 1 plus 5 is going to give me a positive 4. So just always make sure you're looking at the variable and make sure they always match. Like here we've got 5x squared and 7x squared. That's okay, they're both the same, they're both x squared. So 5 and 7 is going to give us 12, so we've got 12x squared. There is no constant term, so then that's finished. But what happens when we start to get into some more? Like looking at number 9 here. We have a 26x and a negative 4x. Okay, 26x and a negative 4x is 22x. But now we don't have a constant. What we have is another variable term. A plus 2y and a plus 10y. So that's going to give us plus, because it's positive, 12y. You can only combine the terms that are exactly the same. Let's look at number 12 here. That one looks a little more complicated. We've got an x squared. Oh, that looks like the only x squared term, so we're just going to write x squared. Then you're going to find another one. Let's see, here's an xy term, plus 2xy. Here's an xy term, minus 7xy. Remember, always include that sign in front. So 2xy minus 7xy is going to give us a negative, or subtract, 5xy. But we're still not done. There's still a variable over there that we haven't used yet. So you got to look over here, and I'm just going to underline it. We've got a 4y squared. So you're going to have a plus 4y squared. There's a squared there. So your completed expression is going to be x squared minus 5xy plus 4y squared. Let's try one more example here. Let's go for, we'll just do number 14 here. We got 4x squared minus 3x squared is going to give you a 1x squared. Sometimes 1x squared is written without a coefficient out front. If there's no coefficient out front, it's always just a 1. And then we have 2x plus 8x, which is going to be 10x. But notice, I couldn't combine my 4x squared and my 2x because the variable was not to the same power. You can only combine them if the variable is the same power too. So let's look at finding perimeter using some of this. If you're looking at this, remember, to find perimeter, all you have to do is add everything together. So I'm going to start here. I got 2x plus 1, that's this side, plus x, because that's that side, plus 3x, which is that side. So then again, I'm just going to go around and I'm going to look. Here's my 2x, here's an x, remember the sign out front, and here's another x, that's plus 3x. Remember, if there's no number out front, it's a 1. So you got 2 plus 1 plus 3, which is going to give you 6x. And then if we look at what's left of our coefficient here, our coefficient that we have left is just a plus 1. There's no other coefficient, so it's just 6x plus 1. Now, if we're looking at the perimeter of this rectangle here, remember, you always add all the sides together. So this side right here is y plus 2. Let's draw a line here. Y plus 2. Which means this side is also y plus 2. So plus y plus 2. Now if you're looking at the other side now, we've got a 3y minus 5. So plus 3y minus 5. And then this side is also going to be 3y minus 5. So plus 3y minus 5. Oh, I kind of ran out of room there. Sorry about that. So if we're looking at combining all our like terms, we're going to look right here. Here's a y term. Here's a y term. Y term and y term. So we've got, remember, no number out front, it's a 1. So 1y plus 1y plus 3y plus 3y. That's going to give you 8y. Now if we look over here and figure out what's left of our constants, we got a 2 plus 2 minus 5 and minus 5. So 2 plus 2 is 4. minus 5 is a negative 1 minus another 5 is a negative or subtract 6. So it's going to be 8y minus 6. Make sure you show me your notes, and then you'll move on to an assignment on Clever.